Brother, you good? Want to do sound checks real quick?
Here we
Say
go.
something real fast?
Here we go. Here we go.
You
Are
good?
we here? Let's go.
Let's go. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. Hey, this is one of my favorite parts of the month. Actually, the Heart and Soul segment is what I started calling it while I was gone. Is my favorite part of the month because I get my big brother, Mr. Scott Garrick, back in the booth. So, hey, today's Heart and Soul segment. We're picking back up from where the conversation was last week. We were talking about boundaries.
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 Yeah.
I remember before the show, I said, Mr. G, I'm going to try to tackle boundaries, but I'm going to need you to cover back and make sure we tighten it up because I know you're going to come with something magical, man. Mr. G said, say less. And he told me the idea. I was like, let's go.
Yes, indeed.
Mr. G, man, I missed you. It's been 2+ months since we've been in the booth.
It has been a while.
Man. And so I promised everybody listening, bring Big Brother back. We're going to still do this next year. As long as I can keep pulling them. I got to ask Big Sis if I can kidnap him for Saturday mornings. I'm very grateful about Saturday mornings so we can have the rest of our day.
That's right.
Instead of cutting our days off to get here at 5 o'clock. Mr. G, I know I tell you this all the time, but I'm so grateful for you. I'm grateful for your energy, grateful for your knowledge and wisdom, and I can't wait to talk about boundaries.
Boundaries.
Some more.
Yes, indeed.
We got to do the commercial stuff.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for that.
78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. As you know, our collaborative partners are the reason why we're able to keep doing this every single week. And actually, it's a lot more that have asked to be recognized and a lot of things that we're doing for 2023. So for everybody who supports the show, supports the trips, the visits, and a lot of stuff we're about to do. Really exciting. The Philippine exchange training program.
Tell them about that. Tell them about that.
Man, get a chance to go and teach some of these lessons and probably boundaries as well to the Philippine Air Force, headquarters Philippine Air Force next month. And I'll be in Manila.
That is incredible.
Yes. So I'll be there talking just like we're doing right now and speaking to a group of leadership from the headquarters Philippine Air Force. So, wow.
Yes.
Man.
That is exciting.
Heart and soul.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you. Some of the good reads from the trip that I was on last time. I just came back from senior NCOA, as you know. That was a long flight.
Long flight.
Mrs. G, that's a long flight, man. One of the books I read on the way there was HBR's. And I want to share these things with you because I know if it's something that's really impactful for me, it might be the same for someone else, right? Harvard Business Review, I mentioned this last time, is on mental toughness. One of the blocks in here, one of the cool lessons talks about resiliency, what we teach in the military and where that rooted from, and it comes from Dr. Seligman and what his original theory was and how he provided it to the Army and how that's now reached all the other branches. So if you really want to read something cool, on mental toughness is definitely a good read from Harvard Business Review.
How many articles are in there?
I want to say there are, let me double check. I'll look right now just to make sure. There are a total of 9 articles.
9 articles.
And the one that I got into a lot with was the cognitive fitness.
Okay.
And they also talk about a lot of the leadership crucible.
Oh, yeah,
which was really good. I was like, wait, I never heard this. Let's talk about it. Hey, so check it out, man, if you haven't already, on mental toughness from the Harvard Business Review, 10 must reads. Another one, as you know, we are going to be teaching this, and thank you so much for the conversations of the Happiness Institute team. So the Happiness Institute team and the author of this book, of course, Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, we've been in conversations to be able to teach this material here in Okinawa, and it is happier no matter what. The model is the SPIRE model.
Oh, okay.
Very similar to what we teach when we're talking about resiliency right now.
Oh.
But it takes those conversations in a different direction, gives you a different perspective on resiliency. And it truly teaches you, no matter what's going on in your life, there's always a way to find out or find the good things, right? Look for the good.
Look for the good.
Let me tell you something. Happiness, no matter what, is out there too. And you guys know I ain't going to lie. Mr. G knows I don't front.
That's right.
I'm not a page turner, but I do put my headphones on.
We were just talking about that.
Man, the Audible is the way to go for me, man. Mr. G likes to kick back a chair.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Relax. I said, yeah, I can see that, Mr. G.
Yep.
Yeah. Smell the pages.
That's right.
I just smell these.
Just feel those.
Feel the, let's go.
Feel that book.
So happier no matter what on mental toughness. And if you're interested, of course, the team from Free Period Press, we love you guys too. The self-care journal starting off that new year, right?
Self-care, very important.
Let's go. And the funny thing is, and even going through each one of these pages, because it gives you, if you guys want to see an example, it gives you different ideas of how to do things for yourself, for you, experience different things each day, right? But one of the cool things about this book, and which is going to be a conversation probably soon, is there's really a difference between self-care and pampering yourself. Significant difference.
Talk about that.
Between self-care. I love him because I could. I'm going to tell you, I want to save it. Me and Mr. G going to come back.
All right.
We're going to come back to this.
Sounds good.
Boundaries today, we're going to come back.
Yeah, we will come back to that. I'm not going to remind you of it.
Please. I will tell you.
Self-care is important.
What it is people think the stuff you do is maintenance for you or tune-ups. Yeah, it's taking care of yourself for those items. But that's not what self-care is. That's just a part of it. That's a small fraction. For example, a friend of mine, I'm getting my lashes done and my nails done. To her, she said, I did my self-care. No. You might have, and my feet done, right? So she pampered herself for that day. That's just a piece. That's so small compared to what self-care really means. So we're going to put a little bow on that and come back to you because it's so much going into the new year, talking about boundaries with Mr. G today, wrapping this bad boy up. ID, who are you next week? And then coming back to self-care. So the flow, and it's all from conversations.
Yeah, that's it.
Mr. G, we don't come up here and plan this and say, hey, on December we're going to talk about boundaries. No, it's from talking to people and hearing, different concepts and perspectives that they bring. And it's like, that would be really awesome to share.
That would be great.
And so then I run it by Big Brother. I'm like, hey, Big Brother, that's what I'm thinking.
We got started in the office and we were just started talking about it.
Just randomly.
It was like just right out of the blue.
Let's go. It's organic. The ID conversation, and I'm not going to steal credit, my big sis and a conversation I had this weekend, it was a combination of those two convos. One of my heroes came. We were talking about ID. And then Coach Stephanie Loader, I know you're watching. Me and her were talking about ID this morning. So I was like, you know what? That's twice. That's all I need. I got confirmation. That's going to be the next topic. So we're going to go boundaries, ID, and then we're going to talk about self-care, the importance of self-care. Another book she mentioned was Atomic Habits. Atomic Habits.
Yep.
So hopefully I'm getting that title right, Steph, if you're listening. So I want to check that book out after this and prepare for the AFN segment on Monday. So I'll probably listen to that tonight and tomorrow. So Atomic Habits, I don't know the author. I just heard about it this morning. But when I told her what we're talking about, she was like, yo, check this out. They talk about ID as well in there. So Big Brother, back to you. Sorry, guys. We had to get the commercial stuff out of the way.
Gotta do it.
Now we can get into our conversation.
There you go.
Everybody who supports the show, thank you so much. We're going to start our conversation out the way we always do.
Yes, indeed.
With 3 questions. Thumball.com.
Here we go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go, Mr. G.
This will be great.
Bam.
Okay. What are 3 of the most significant numbers in your life?
Ooh.
That's pretty good. I got one right off the top of my head.
Go ahead. What you got?
Numbers. Okay, so the first number that I have is 42.
42.
42. Why is it 42?
Yeah.
42, for those that are geeks out there that listen to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
How?
According to them, it's a random number pulled out of the 42. Sky. 42. But so whenever anybody asks me something, and I say, well, there's 42 of them in there.
There it is. It's always 42.
It's always 42 or some derivation of it.
Okay.
So the big sis, she loves that one. She always smiles whenever I say, the answer is 42.
It's 42. I mean, you know this already. Yeah.
And then let's see. Another significant number in my life would be 50.
50.
And the reason why I say that is because I, recently turned 50 7 years ago.
Recently, I like that. Recently, 7 years ago, I turned 50.
Yep. But it was one of those introspective times in your life where you go, okay, I've lived half a century now. I've got another half century.
There it is.
Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Okay. And it really is a turning point because, as you know, you will be in the military for a certain amount of time. Right. And then after that, you got to get out and you got to start your next career and so forth. Well, your 50s are pretty much when the kids are grown, gone, and you're really just, the parents are still around and that type of thing. You may be starting to take care of them and so forth. But for me, it was just that sweet spot in the middle of your life that then you move forward. So 50 is a good one for me.
Okay.
Another significant number in my life would be 1988.
1988. What happened in 1988?
And that would be because that was when I met my wonderful wife.
Let's go.
And married her.
So. Hey, big sis, if you're listening. Yeah.
Yeah. We married then on actually pretty quickly here, December 28th, 1988.
Oh, so the anniversary's coming up.
Anniversary's coming up. Yeah. Okay. Anniversary's coming
28
up.
December.
Yep, indeed.
Nice.
So it was right during NAV training for me, and it was on Christmas break, and it was the only time I had. So I flew from Sacramento, California, down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay.
And got married that week, and came back for the rest of the training. So that was 3 important dates. So.
December 28th. I got 3 numbers.
Okay.
Make it real easy.
Okay.
7 and 22.
Ah, okay.
7, I don't know why that number, every time I see it, just makes me smile.
Lucky number 7.
Yeah, lucky 7, man. And I heard there's a lot of story behind that.
Yes.
The number 7. We won't dive into that for this show. But yes, 7's a special number. Also for me, 22.
22. Interesting.
Every time, 22, I know I'm going to have a good day if I see 22.
Oh, okay.
Pop up.
Great.
2022 has been a great year.
It has been a great year.
Everything, I mean, you saw the text last night. It's truly where I'm having fun. I'm having fun.
Yes.
And it could be if I'm on a plane. Maybe I'm just trying to reset my thoughts. Or if I'm driving to work and I see it's 8:22 or it's 7:20. It's 8:22. I'm late for work. But if it's 7:22, right? So when I see that number pop up, and you'll see on my website, I did one for 2/22. It was a special message from 2/22. That was a special day. And 2022, when this was the year, I said, this is going to be my year.
This is your year.
It was my football number in high school.
Oh, okay.
I went from freshman year, I kind of had 2 jerseys because we were broke as a team. Had 20 and then 22. And then my next year, I was on a varsity team. My number was 22. So yeah, that's it. 22 is my number.
How about that? That's really cool.
Big brother, let's go.
All right, here it is.
Bam. All right, let's see. Ooh, what job would you be terrible at? I hate moving. And I say this to friends, so forgive me if you've ever asked me to help you move furniture and I disappeared, or if I knew you were moving and you didn't hear from me for 2 weeks. That's one of the things that I always tear myself up. A couch against my hand or something falls on my foot. I do not. I would be horrible at being a moving person. Somebody move furniture.
Moving.
Yes, that's different.
Huh?
Oh yeah. What about you?
Oh gosh. Well, I guess for me, I can't do an artist type work. Okay. So my daughter has this innate ability, and so does a big sis. But my daughter has this innate ability to look at something and see it before it's even there. It's like Michelangelo said, the angel's in there. I just needed to carve them out.
I like that.
That's how it was. But she would have a canvas, and she could see this whole thing, this whole picture that she wanted to put on that canvas before it was even there.
Wow.
And I'm going, okay, so I see that and everything. It looks good. But what is she doing now? And she puts the pieces together, and it's just one thing on top of another. And then before you know it, now this beautiful work of art is there. And I'm like, how in the world? Because she saw it. So
it's already a vision.
It's already a vision.
Wow.
And so for me, I can't do that. I follow instructions. I'm an operator. Where's the instructions? Where's the...
So the next layer.
That's it. I need a checklist.
Nice. Math teacher.
Math teacher.
I suck at math.
Wow.
I'm trash at math. I forgot about that. That'd be a whole. That class would be completely confused.
Completely confused.
The answer's 42.
42.
Always 42, guys. That would definitely
That's
be
it. That is it.
All right, brother. Last one. You ready?
Last one. Here it is. What makes you happy despite any mood?
Let's go.
There you go. That's
Let's
it.
go. What makes you happy despite any mood?
Despite any mood, it is music, my friend.
I love that.
I get my vibe on and I just jam out, and it really makes me, it touches me. It deeply, affects me.
Nice.
So.
My kid's voice.
Ah.
My kid's voice. We'll talk more about that right after this break. Got it right on time.
Yes. I was just like, okay, you're watching the clock, right? Yes. Somebody's blowing up my phone, so I got to see what's going on. Chris and Haley are at the PAX terminal now. They're just about ready to head out.
You get some good time in with him?
Yeah, we did. It was nice at the end. Yeah, the dogs, they have 2 dogs, and they're both high energy type things, and they're bigger dogs. Both of them had blowouts. So, pee, poop in their kennels, So they're having to get that all cleaned up before they head out. So, yeah, go.
All right, big brother, that's it. We're ready to roll right in.
Yep, 20 seconds, 15 seconds.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
So many people to say thank you to.
I know, right?
Awesome.
It is. It's all about gratitude.
Facts. 78.6 FM Yoma Time, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'm back with Big Brother, Mr. Scott Garricky.
Good
Big Brother,
morning.
we finished, man. The last one was, what is something that makes you smile no matter what mood you're in? That makes me happy. My kids, their voice.
Oh.
Even if they're doing something they ain't supposed to. Like my little son, he always doing something mischievous. I wonder where he gets that from. But he always, when I see him, like I can be waking up, I can be tired, I can be stressed, I can be whatever. But when I see them pop up on the screen, like video chat, just my whole heart.
It just goes,
man.
Oh.
One thing that and I realized it is I was just having a blah day the other day, right? Just sitting there, one of those Netflix watching. I think it was a show Wednesday, pretty good. And my daughter, out the blue, it had to be about midnight.
Oh wow.
She's 11, right? So she just texts me and she says, "Hi." That's all she said. My whole heart.
Aww.
I said, I want to call her, but it's so late. So I tell her, I said, I miss you and I love you, and it just set the tone for the rest of the day. Just made me smile.
That's nice.
Yes, sir.
That is really good.
78.6 FM. We did the commercial segment. I call it that because we got to get the things. Thank you for everybody.
There you go.
Thank you so much. So grateful for the support, the belief, the trust, and especially with your books, your information, your material, and trusting us to be able to discuss it on the air and to travel and discuss it to others and share the wonderful information. Speaking life into people.
That's right.
Big brother, what are we talking about today?
We're going to talk about boundaries today.
Let's go!
Boundaries are so important, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'll tell you what. So when somebody says boundaries, and they tell you boundaries, what is it? What is the first thing that comes to mind for you?
For me, is kind of like a defensive posture, right? The walls that you have set up.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So tell me about those walls. What would create those walls for you?
Probably situations, experiences, circumstances. Me personally just got a little cheat code, right? Because understanding them a little bit is things that I know are set for my protection of my mental and spiritual well-being, right?
Yep.
So if that's going to disturb my peace, it can't be a part of my life. So that wall is there not only to keep you out, but to keep me safe in here.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
That's right. So for me, it's basically the same thing. It's contextual.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all about context. And for me, as I was thinking about boundaries and so forth, I think of 2 different things.
Okay.
One is what you were just talking about, personal boundaries.
Right.
Okay. That we're going to talk about those. But I also thought, well, we have institutional boundaries too. Okay.
Yep.
Thinking about those guardrails on the side of the highway. You didn't put those in there.
Right.
They put them in there for you.
Right.
Okay. Same thing goes with all kinds of other things that you have as far as boundaries are concerned. They're put in place for your safety.
Right.
Also think about boundaries of a soccer field or a swimming pool or a track. Think about those courts that, ball field or something like that. There's a boundary on there. Okay. And that boundary is set there for a reason.
Right.
So that everybody's on the same field.
Right.
We're all playing by the same rules.
Right.
And it's not going haywire.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So there are boundaries put in place, institutional boundaries that are put in place. Say, for instance, you have a bank account.
Yeah.
There's an institutional boundary there that is a safety net because of the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Company.
Yep.
You can put $100,000 in there, and they will guarantee that it's there. That's institutional boundary.
Gotcha.
Okay. You put over $100,000, it is on you.
Hey, bro,
You're going to lose it. But they will guarantee you.
Yeah.
So those type of boundaries are institutional. They're put in place. They're meant for your safety or your protection, just like you were talking about.
Right.
But then you go into the personal side. Okay. Personal boundaries.
Yep.
Now, personal boundaries are those things that you've said you're not going to do.
Gotcha.
Okay. Things that you said you weren't going to go past, an extent you're not going to exceed. Okay. Because most of the time, what happens when you exceed those boundaries? How do you feel?
Wore out, beat up, or you feel really bad that you allowed that to happen. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep.
Bingo. So that's those personal boundaries.
Yep.
Webster defines boundaries as something that indicates a fixed or an extent.
Got you.
It fixes a limit or an extent
Right.
on something. Okay.
Yep.
That's Webster. But Dr. Brene Brown, love her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's really, really good.
Yep.
She explains it much more simply.
Okay.
She only explains it as what's okay and what's not okay.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Let's
That's
break it
it.
down.
Real easy.
Break it down to something that's really simple, really easy to remember.
Yep.
What's okay and what's not okay.
Got you.
Okay. And that's what she says. She says that basically setting personal boundaries is the start of self-love.
Let's go.
You know what I'm talking about?
Let's go.
Taking care of yourself.
Yep.
And then
Taking what?
Yeah, taking care of yourself.
Interesting. How boundaries are a part of self-care.
They are, aren't they?
Let's go.
They are.
Okay.
And it's actually the start, because once you start taking care of yourself, then you start taking care of others.
Right.
Okay. And that's where she says that it's basically the start of kindness to other people.
Go.
You know what I'm saying? Isn't that what Chief KC?
I'm feeling all warm inside because this is exactly what I was hoping would come out. Yes.
Chief KC says your number one mission in life. You know what your number one mission in life is?
You.
Self-care.
That's
That's
facts.
right. You.
You can't pour out if you ain't taking care of what's in here. So what are you pouring from? How you
That's
can't
right.
pour from an empty cup? I love all
That's
this.
exactly right.
Let's
and
go.
setting those boundaries
Yeah.
are the start of the whole thing. So let me ask you this. We've got a little time.
Let's go.
How do we set personal boundaries?
Starts with self-awareness.
Self-awareness. Very
Yes.
good. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Talk about that a little bit.
100%. So in order to set boundaries, you got to understand what makes you uncomfortable.
Okay.
You got to understand what makes you comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
You got to understand your limitations.
Ah.
And you also got to understand what your goal, direction, and beliefs are. So what is it called? I'm self-aware of what my principles are, what I value. So if it doesn't align with what I believe and what I value and my principles, and I'm not going to allow it in my life. Those are the boundaries I said. What example we used?
Yes.
Right? The trip.
Yes.
Hey, I don't drink.
That's right.
Put it out there. This is what I believe in, my values, and what aligns with how I live my life. Work. Very similar, right? So boundary. Hey, guys, we need to make sure we take care of ourselves and our family. In order to do so, we need to try to get each other out of here by 5
There
o'clock.
you go.
So setting those things to where it aligns with what you value and how you're trying to get through your life.
Yes,
sir.
exactly right. I was just hoping you were going to say that, because values are so important,
Yes, sir.
right? Those things that we have worth, the things that we consider worthy.
Right.
That's what we value. Where are we going to put our time?
Yep.
And our minds? Where are our minds going to be?
Yep.
That's our values. And you're exactly right. By setting those boundaries of This is what I value. Okay. And this is how I'm going to set my personal limits.
There it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, this is my list.
That's right. Exactly. Is exactly right. Now, I just happened to also do a little study, and I came across a guy by the name of, his name is Henry Amar.
Okay.
In a TEDx.
Nice.
You know, and he was talking mostly about the same type of things where, you know, you had your personal boundaries, and he said, it was really kind of funny. He said, what porcupines can teach us about boundaries. And as you can remember, he goes into a story about how porcupines would come together just to stay warm and so forth, but they'd get too close and they'd start poking each other. So they would go away from each other for a little bit, and then they would eventually start coming back together and poke each other.
Like, dude, wait.
They eventually learn how far they can come together and just get to that sweet spot. So he told that story because basically what he's talking about is finding the sweet spot for you. Okay. Now let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Personal limits are more than just saying yes or no.
Right.
It's rather, what he says is rather more about how much.
Right.
Okay. So when you say yes a lot, obviously if you're saying yes to me all the time and I can do this. Yeah. Let's do it. You know, it's because I'm tasking you and so forth. What is the, if a boss were doing that to an employee all the time and the employee just couldn't say no. Right. Okay. What would end up happening, or how would that employee end up feeling?
They're never saying no, so they have no cap. Probably going to end up burning themselves out.
Bingo.
Yes, sir.
They're going to come in all grumpy because they got the boss that comes in and gives them all tasks, and they're too afraid to say no. Right. You know, and so they're going to get run over. Right. They're going to get wrung out, you know, and tired and cranky, and it's not going to be a good thing. Right. So that's what happens when you say yes to everything. Yep. Okay.
No boundaries. Just
no boundaries.
Yes.
And oftentimes he says that'll get you back to your amygdala, freeze, fight, flight, or fawn. Fawn is that one where you do everything because you don't want to say no or make that person feel like, you know, they don't that you are liked by that person. You know what I'm saying? Right. So at any rate, saying yes too much, not good.
Got you.
Now, saying no, that basically is one of those things where if you say no, oftentimes people get angry. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. No.
Wait, you say no to me?
You're saying no?
We don't do that here. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
So it is also one of those things that if you keep saying no, you're putting up your own boundaries that other people can't get in now. Facts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you say, if I ask you all the time, hey, how do you feel? Yeah. I'm fine. And that's it.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Yeah. That boundary that you have set is a no. Right. You know, no, I don't want you to know what's going on in my life.
Facts. How's your weekend? It was fine.
It was fine.
What'd you do? Nothing much.
One word answers. That's it. And that way, you know, those boundaries are up there. Right. So guess what? No, you're not going to make yourself vulnerable. You're not going to have anybody come in and love you the way you should and become intimate with that person. Right. You know, and really know what they're thinking and they're feeling. If you keep saying no, I'm not going to be bothered by your questions, and so forth. It's going to be you're at your own peril. Facts. Okay. So we've gone through the yes and how if we say yes all the time, we're going to get run over. We've gone through the no and how no will prevent you from being known by somebody. Right. And if everything is fine, then everything is feelings internally not expressed. Right. Okay. So you're not going to be known by that other person. Now we're going to talk about how much in a little bit.
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Because I want to talk about not being scared to say no.
That's right.
We'll be right back after this break. Let's go.
I love that.
78.6 FM, Positive Vibes with Winston. This is the Heart and Soul segment with Big Brother, Mr. Scott Garricky. Mr. G, where we leave off, Big Brother?
Okay, so we were talking a little bit about Henry Amar's TEDx presentation.
Okay.
And how he was talking about porcupines and how what they can teach us about relationships, basically. But what we were talking about was when we're setting our own personal boundaries, and how if we say yes too much or no too much, what happens when they do that. And those are really fear-based boundaries, okay?
Okay.
Now let's talk a little bit more about love-based boundaries, okay? Love-based boundaries are more of those things that tend to make you ask, how much? Okay. So it's not a yes, it's not a no, it's more of a how much. And it's really that sweet spot where those porcupines get to, they're next to each other enough to keep warm, but they don't poke each other. Gotcha. So, and it really is, as you think about personal relationships and your own personal boundaries, what is one of the things that comes to mind as far as how much you're going to let that person know about you? What is one of those things?
It really boils down to how comfortable and how safe I feel around that person.
How safe?
Yeah.
Do you trust that person?
Facts.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Are they going to go blab everything, to their buddies and then they come and think about?
Then I'm regretting and reevaluating my boundaries all over again. Like, why am I'm not going to talk to anyone ever again. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's really that level of trust where that person feels comfortable and you're safe with you, and it really determines that level of relationship that you're going to have. Are they going to be on the outer side of a circle that's just not really known too much, or are they going to be in that inner circle of trust, where you're going to have an intimate knowledge?
But there's not much they don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, got you.
Yes, they're going to let them in, and that way you're going to have a deep, intimate knowledge with that person. Okay. And so that's really love-based boundaries. They're based on your values and your principles. And really it is when you're talking about other people and letting them in, if they violate those boundaries, what happens?
That's a wrap.
Exactly.
And some people are more patient than others, but some people, hey, you violated my boundary.
That's right.
And part of that is taking that power back to know if someone violates your boundaries, they've pretty much disrespected you as an individual, and it shows you how they feel or see you. In many cases, not all. Some people may not realize they violated.
There you go. That's
but if it's an established boundary, this person knows, and they still try to cross that boundary, then yes. You just cut yourself off.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was this one Seinfeld episode that they had this, they warned, I think Elaine warned George that this person that comes in, they're a close talker. And so then the guy comes in and starts talking to George, and he's like 2 inches away from his nose because he came in and he close talked to George right up in front. There's a boundary there. That's like personal space that you're supposed to have, but he violated that, right? He went straight in.
This is what he does.
Yep. Yeah. So like what you were talking about, if I know what your personal boundary is, and I know that it's 3 feet away, but I constantly come in and I violate that boundary, how much are you really going to open up to that person? And
the thing is too, and we were talking about this, right, is being able to clearly establish boundaries in our relationships.
That's right.
Not being scared to have them, and what we said, not being scared to say no.
Exactly.
Because you're clarifying, I'm not comfortable with that. This isn't, I don't vibe with that.
That's right.
What is it? Going to a job. I'm scared of heights, guys. I know we do stuff on the ground and we do stuff on the roof. Please don't ask me to go on the roof, right? You're establishing that boundary.
Exactly.
I will do all the mopping and sweeping you need down here, but I'm not the sky team.
Nope.
Right? So when you establish that, and then that boss, if he still comes to, hey, I need you on the roof today. Bro, I told you day one when you hired me, you knew.
That's my boundary.
Establishing that clearly, openly, and not being scared to say no.
That's right.
Part of that self-care and power, taking your life back, is being able to use that word.
That's exactly it.
Yes, sir.
That is exactly right. And really, it all boils down to a respect
Yes.
too. You know,
Yes.
if I am constantly coming in and violating that personal boundary of
Yeah.
yours, how much do you think that I really respect you?
Facts.
You know,
It speaks
I don't
volumes.
respect you. Exactly.
Yeah. Cully, he says he doesn't like being on the roof, but I bet you I can get him up there.
I bet you I can get him up there.
What?
Yes.
Yes.
So how much do you think that boss is respecting you and your
Facts.
boundaries? No.
Facts.
Yeah, and so those are the type of things that really ask the questions, how much or how badly are those people violating your boundaries?
Gotcha.
Okay. So how much are they violating your boundaries? Is it, once a year? Is it once every day or something like that? How much? It's totally up to you. Just like you said, it's totally up to you how much that person, you want to let that person in and violate your boundary.
Gotcha.
How much or how badly? Say you were in a business relationship with a person and they took off with all the equipment, all the money and emptied your bank account. That's pretty badly. That's a one and done. One and done. I am done with you.
Yeah, you're severe. Yeah.
Severe.
Yeah.
That boundary was just one of those things that you couldn't do. So I'm done with you. And that it's a how much and how badly.
Gotcha.
Is that combination.
So it's a combination of if someone is consistently violating your boundaries, or if they violate your boundaries so extreme that I'm completely done. There's no chance for me to allow me to let my wall down again.
That's right.
So we talk about relationships, business, yes, but in relationships too, right? So work, job, of course, we talk about those things a lot because that's most of our day. However, in relationships, think about the boundaries that you have set up and open. Are you opening up to the right people?
There you go.
Right? And the folks that you should be opening up to, have you set boundaries up out of fear?
There you go.
Previous experiences? Can you let some of them things down? So we talk about reevaluating your boundaries and where you are as an individual and as a person. Why do you have those boundaries set up in the first place?
There you go.
So you take it all the way back to self-awareness. Is it something from your past that caused these boundaries to be up? Is it boundaries that need to be up? Are you reevaluating those leading into this new year to say, hey, you know what? I've been guarded, Mr. G.
There you go.
I need to get out. I need to stop saying no to that because it actually looks like fun.
Exactly.
Maybe I should say yes to that. Or I need to start saying no to this.
Yes.
Because I'm not growing. I'm not progressing and I'm hurting myself.
Now you're talking.
Come on, man.
That's exactly right.
Boundaries, love, fear, and what is driving you to set those up. And could you take them down or do you need to put them higher for certain people, situations, and things? Mr. G, let's go,
That's exactly right. And you made me think about something as well. One of those boundaries that you have that you may have put up may be blocking you from self-growth.
That's right.
If you put yourself out beyond your boundary and you get into that uncomfortable zone, now you're stretching, now you're growing, and you're experiencing something you had never experienced before.
Scared of big bodies of water.
Yes.
Frightened. But I know once I put that money down on that certification, I'm going to want to go get it. I'm
That's
going
right.
to experience it. It's one of those things like right now, that's been a boundary for me, like heights.
Yeah.
Last year I'm ziplining. Right? I'm frightened. But now you can't keep me off of it. I see a zip line. Hey, put me on, strap me in where I go. And I'm excited for that opportunity.
Yes.
But I trust you enough to tell me, hey, you're going to love it.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
Versus somebody I don't trust, really, you don't have that relationship with. You're going to love scuba diving. And then they're sending me pictures of sharks and stuff. Hey, what is this? Right? But you, Joe, our new hero,
That's
Rico, people who I love talking to, and I know I can trust that if they're telling me I'm going to enjoy it, knowing that they know me, I'm going to enjoy it.
There you go.
Let's go, man.
Now, you just brought up the last thing I wanted to bring up, which is really, really important.
Let's go.
How do people make you feel? That is a huge boundary that you want to talk about when you're talking about establishing relationships.
Yep.
Because you and I, we'll get into the room and we'll just energize off of each other, and it's that relationship, that person makes that emotion that you feel. If that person makes you feel a certain way, you either want to stick with them and be with them all the time because they energize you, they support you, they encourage you. You have a positive feeling.
Right.
And or on the flip side, does the person, is it one of those things where you cringe when you go, oh, I got to go talk to so-and-so?
Who's here? I feel their spirits.
Yes. Yes.
Where's the sage?
Yes. Exactly.
Yes.
So is it that kind of relationship where you want to just go, it's okay,
Right.
thank you. But you want to bring those people into your life that are going to be supportive, that encourage you,
Right.
that make you feel good about yourself, and good coaches and mentors do that,
Exactly.
They are the people that you want to go to
Yep.
and hear from.
And you see constantly those people, there's always someone talking to them about something.
Yes.
That's that door that's always revolving because that person is trusted, understood, and just listens and understands, right? And is open to whatever you bring. That's this dude right here. I tell you. Mr. G, with that, feelings and emotions and trust and build, man, bruh. When I'm telling you about self-awareness, understanding, and reevaluating yourself for the new year. It starts there. When we say the word self-awareness too, we're going to talk about that with ID.
Yes.
Everybody has their own definition of these words. Some of them become buzzwords, right? But the biggest thing is when you are self-aware enough to know what makes you uncomfortable, who makes you uncomfortable, how you react to these things, what kind of self-regulation and self-control do you have, right? We're starting to dip into the emotional intelligence. But when you start talking about how you feel during experiences, circumstances, and people, that's the first thing you got to know about yourself because that's where you start establishing boundaries. Up here, high walls or low walls. But if you don't know what makes you feel certain ways, you haven't put yourself in situations to know about yourself.
Now you're talking.
You're never going to know. And you might put yourself in unnecessary boundary situations. You didn't need it. That person was there. That opportunity might have had something to do with your growth in your future. Man, I love you, big brother.
I love you too,
Dude,
brother.
that was awesome. That was Mr. G. Do you have any closing remarks about boundaries?
Boundaries are so important in our lives. And you just, like you said, you have to be self-aware.
Yeah.
You have to know what your values are, your principles.
Yep.
You set those boundaries up. And then you look for the people that really encourage you, like yourself.
Let's go. 78.6, 222 just popped up.
222?
78.6 FM Yoma Time, positive vibes of Winston. We're talking about boundaries. We spoke on it last week. We gave some tips about how to make sure you're understanding what your boundaries really mean. Mr. G just gave you a couple of great examples and another perspective on boundaries. Hey, we're going to talk about it on AFN on Monday, 06 a.m. Japan Standard Time. We'll have our Win Some, You Lose Some show for an hour talking about boundaries, values, and a lot of this information. There was another TED Talk that I listened to last week. I'll text it to you. I forget the young lady's name. But everyone is saying the same thing. Don't be scared to say no.
That's right.
Don't be scared to say yes. Understand why you're saying those words and don't just accept anything into your life. Protect your energy. Protect yourself. And make sure that you're feeding yourself what you need. Not just with experiences with people. For growth, love, development, and where you need to be as a person. That's what self-care is part. That's part of self-care too, right? I'm tied up later. But Mr. G, we love you. We appreciate you. And you know I love having you on the stadium. I said on the stadium. In the studio, in the booth. I want to have you back when we talk about self-care though.
Okay.
Is that fair?
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, I heard it, right? I already got to get it on video. Hey, so Mr. G's going to be back when we talk about self-care. Next week, we're talking about ID.
ID.
Let's go. ID. That's a big one. I can't wait to talk to you guys about it. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. I'll send this link out to my friends and family. I got to do a different way of YouTube won't let us download. So now I got to use my old school camera and record and edit it. But we'll send that out to you guys, maybe in clips. Also, I'm going to post this back on the Positive Vibes radio show. It's going to be its own little column. So you'll start seeing every time me and Mr. G get in here what we're talking about. Just a build up to get you guys ready for the new year. You are loved, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Know yourself, love yourself, and respect yourself enough to know where your boundaries are, which ones you need to keep, and which ones you may want to get rid of for the new year, for your growth, and for self-love. See you next week.